patiently waiting on my dreams to come true, hoping and praying one day that they do. Oh, I don't know how, and I don't know when, just patiently waiting till then.
Dwayne, as everyone knows, was an entrepreneur, and he was always into something new. In 1964, we had been going back and forth from Springfield, Illinois, where we lived, to his hometown in Piggott. And he said, Warner Hardin and I are going to start a ready-mix business in Piggott, Arkansas. And I'm going like, we don't live in Piggott, Arkansas, you know. Well, Warner's going to run it. I'm just, a partner. I never thought I was going to move to Arkansas, even though I knew Dwayne was from Arkansas. But by 1968, 4 years later, we moved to Piggott, Arkansas. We had ready-mix companies in Piggott, Corning, Paragould, in Bucota, Missouri, which is close to Kennett. It was a tough money-making operation, very tough.
When we moved to Paragould, we moved into a mobile home on premise. I thought it was really cool because I had these big piles of sand and these big piles of rock, and there were all these machines. So, it was kind of like a playground for me.
He was 8 years old, though.
Yeah.
We sold the ready-mix operations, kept the ready-mix plant in Paragould, and moved to Houston, Texas in 1976. That was the introduction to concrete finishing equipment. We were in Houston for a year, and then we moved back to Paragould and started manufacturing, and that worked.
But he always seemed to have some type of idea how to fix something, how to make something better. It didn't matter where you're at, what you're doing, or he'd know somebody to get something done. It was fun to see him do what he did.
The very first truss screed was an air screed. Those were run by an air compressor, which had to be on the job site. A couple of years later, we made something new, an engine-driven screed, which was self-contained. And then the riding trowels came in the early 80s.
We were able to get out in front of some of the other people with that technology because Dad had already been working on what a rider would look like. That was kind of the beginning of our growth.
We were family owned. We were right there.
Yeah, my babysitter was for a lot of times with a salesman. Everything I learned how to do, I learned to do at the factory. Riding my go-kart around the place, riding my bicycle in the factory when it'd be raining, and probably the first memories I have.
Dwayne loved the business. His heart was in it, and I think everybody who worked for him loved it too, and we kind of treated our workers as family too.
This is probably one of the only companies that I know of that have people that have worked there for 40 plus years and still enjoy their jobs.
That's part of the culture that I think that we're trying to strive for here at Allen Engineering, is where it's a place where you can come and thrive, have a good time, but still yet do a job and have it done well.
We care about what it takes for a concrete contractor to get their job done.
What does a customer need that he doesn't have, that is not in the market, that we can create?
And it's what sets Allen apart.
Mary and Dwayne both. This was their company, but their people were the most important to them.
Everybody knows pretty much everybody, and they know what you do, what you stand for. It's really kept me here because you're just not another number.
I know a lot of people who have been through some pretty rough circumstances, and I've seen Allen invest in their lives, so not just a paycheck, but they also invest in their lives.
Allen Engineering gives you a chance, after chance, after chance, after chance.
landline rang, and it was Mom. All she said was, "The factory's on fire, you probably need to come up here."
You get calls in the middle of the night. A lot of times they're false alarms, but this was not a false alarm.
I could see a glow on the horizon before I even got there. I was at like the cemetery. I'm like, oh, this
Wasn't a little fire.
By the time I got there, I mean, you know, every fire truck that PFD had, I think they brought in some from maybe some surrounding communities. I mean, it just fully engulfed the building. I remember walking through it, and it was just like, it made you sick.
Dwayne and I and Timmy Don were throwing up smoke for about 2 or 3 days afterwards, but we were able to get a lot of stuff, like we got the forklifts and other things out, but we had a lot of inventory, a lot of big machines ready to be shipped. We lost all of that.
It was just so catastrophic.
You're in shock when you see something like that happen and everything, because we lost everything.
Mr. Allen always put on a strong front for everybody. I can't do that. But he cried that day, trying to talk to people.
It was a heartbreaking moment. What are we going to do? You know, what are they going to decide to do? Because, you know, that affects the lives of everybody that works here.
Dad was pretty upset. It was really, I think, probably one of his low points. He said, "I just don't want to go out like this. I don't want this to be the end of my story."
And I said, well, we'll rebuild. It never crossed my mind that we would do anything else.
A lot of us old-timers were kind of concerned that maybe it would continue, but that very same night, Mr. Allen called us all in, and we had a meeting on the front steps, and him letting us know that we were going to always have a job. Because he got more to take care of besides just this place, it's us.
At that time, you did pretty much whatever needed to be done.
We worked for a year out of a tent, just cleaning and fixing stuff that we could sell, and our customers, they understood, but they still wanted our equipment, so we continued.
And we never missed one day of shipping product to a customer.
For the sales crew who had nothing to sell, came and poured the slab, the south building.
Mr. Allen, I thank God for him. After all of that, he still kept fighting, and now we're bigger and better.
Mary and Dwayne, they could have took the insurance money and left, closed it down, said we're done. But I remember Mary Ann telling me that this wasn't about them. This was about all the employees. They were going to do whatever it took to get this factory back up and running and continue on to take care of all the people.
In 06 and 07, I decided to re-enter the business. So I was gone for 3 years, not thinking I would ever come back. Dad and Mom knew that we needed a successive generation. I think they really wanted to keep it family owned. I said, I want to come back with a bigger mission and a bigger focus than just making equipment. I think this is my ministry. This is where God wants me. I have a good friend that exposed me to a concept of the triple bottom line, which is, you have to make profits, because without a profit and without margin, you can't have a ministry. But you also need to care for your people, and you also need to care for your community.
Jay brings the business aspect. As the world changed and as the economy changed, there needed to be a stronger business brain.
I mean, I saw the potential of what we had, and had with some leadership and some creativity, how we could leverage it and scale it to become something much larger than it was at the time. My goal was to really help set the business up where we could be profitable and on a consistent basis, so we could really do the things that we want to do and make the investments that we wanted to make in our people.
I really appreciated Dwayne and Mary Ann's generous spirit through the years. Jay began to see a need to just really be consistent in the business as we are in our personal lives with our faith.
The idea came up to form a benevolence ministry inside the company. Let's set some money aside for our people when life happens. We started reaching out to these addiction recovery ministries and letting some of these folks come to work for us as they tried to re-engage into society. We've been blessed to be a blessing, and we don't take that lightly.
It's impressive, I guess would be my best word to put it. I mean, I've seen companies grown from nothing to what it is today. He's very well known all around the world, really. He's definitely left a legacy.
Mr. Allen was a go-getter. His goal was to make this place successful, and he worked really hard. He was always here, hands-on.
I can remember him having his dog come out there with him and run around the plant. That's how you knew he was out here.
He was a man that got things done. I'll always respect him. He taught me a lot, him and Mary Ann, over the years.
When I first started working here, I don't think there was even 100 employees. And now we have around 200. We've launched products. We have built a distribution center. We've opened a repair facility. It just feels like you're part of history.
Over the 60 years, we've got a core group of customers that we deal with, and they've stayed with us.
It's a true family business. We're going to be here another 60 years, I feel.
I'm incredibly proud of our family and what we've been able to accomplish. We were able to take a small, somewhat insignificant business and turn it into a larger global player in our industry. Hope and pray we can make it to the 4th generation as a family-owned business. But more than anything, it'd be a business that was about God's kingdom and was willing to make a kingdom impact on not only the people that work in the business, but also for the people that a business touches, whether it's our vendors or our customers, that our community would be different because our business existed and was able to do what we're able to do.
Patiently waiting on my dreams to come true, hoping and praying one day that they do.